Coming to you from the studios at the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, it's the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Rock and roll Chicago, rock and roll Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock the city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best here out around.
Hey everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And it's officially Hollywood Mike.
Officially, why officially?
Well, it's on our new nifty little shirts right
Well, that's
here.
right. We got these nifty new shirts we've got on Amazon.
Not as long, not only do I have my name embroidered on the vest that I wear on my motorcycle, but now it's officially on a shirt.
It's official. It is really official.
So you can't get rid of the name anymore.
You can't change it. You can't become like Anaheim Mike or
No, I don't know. I do not want to be Anaheim Mike.
Compton Mike.
No, nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, no, I got no use for California.
Yeah. Neither do I. But what I do have use for is, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Paul, edit this out, please. Thank you. But instead of us sitting here chatting about ourselves, which, we both love to do that.
Yeah, we can do that very easily. Yeah.
Let's talk to the guys from How Rude 90's Band.
How rude.
We've got Gary and Tyler.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
So did you guys name yourselves after the little girl on Full House?
we did.
Absolutely not.
I guess not.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. We kicked around a few names from.
Wait, no,
stuff
seriously.
like
That's
that.
seriously, that's
Yes.
where it came from.
Absolutely.
You're
yeah.
like Full House, little, what was her name? Michelle?
Michelle. Yeah.
We struggled probably for a good 6 months on what name,
Oh, you know what? It's Stephanie. Stephanie is the How Rude. Michelle is.
Oh, okay.
You got it,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Yep. We struggled with a few names for quite a while. And
Yeah.
just were like, what would be the most iconic? If you hear it, you think Full House 90s. Okay.
Yeah.
They'll know right away instead of having to read the finer print on the banner that says, oh, okay, they do 90s.
Right.
So just tried to think of something like that. And that was the one that finally won. I think we had a couple other ones, As If.
So rad. I think Jake suggested the snapbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went with How Rude with an exclamation point
All right.
to be a little bit different.
I'm a little uncomfortable with the fact that I'm sitting here and I know all of the names of the people on that show.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like all the episodes and everything. And
Whoa.
I'm just going to stop that
Hey,
conversation right
you
there.
know what?
Great show.
I do too. I watched that show every day when I was a kid.
My wife's favorite show. Absolute favorite show.
It's a great show.
Now we're getting off track. Have you watched the spin-off thing is it on Netflix or whatever it's on?
I tried.
I did. I
Or-
watched the first season or two.
I tried. My wife did. I couldn't.
Yeah, you couldn't do it.
I grew out of it, I guess.
It wasn't the same or something like that.
Yeah.
I got sucked in pretty quick. I was into it. It was a nice dose of nostalgia for me. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, eventually we're gonna have video, but we've got a bunch of guys sitting around a table here with tattoos on our arms and the whole bit, and we're talking about Full House.
Yeah.
I pretty much didn't watch that show.
I like it.
No,
Come on.
That's fair.
come on. I mean,
I saw a few episodes, but
Uncle Jesse imitating Elvis. Come on.
I know I don't know. It just didn't reel me in.
Wow. Well, that's great. Well, anyways, we didn't want to interrupt, but go ahead and continue. Let's with Full House and How Rude.
Yeah, we wanted something that would hopefully, say, we're a 90s band right out of the gate with by the name alone, but then we tried to incorporate a lot of that old 90s design in how we promoted our band. When we first announced what we were doing, I did a lot of like old 90s patterns. There's a pattern called the Memphis pattern that was like everywhere in the 90s, and then that you won't know it by the name. It's called the Jazz, but it's that pattern that was on every styrofoam cup and paper plate in the 90s. It's like a white plate, but a blue and purple like zigzag across. If I were to show you on my phone right now, you would absolutely know what it is. It was everywhere.
I think Primo's ice cream.
Okay. All right.
In Oak Lawn,
I'm kind of
they have
getting
that
it.
logo all over
Their cups.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then their diners. I'll pull it up.
Sorry, I'll show you. I got to show you because you'll know exactly what I'm
If
talking
you
about.
haven't noticed already, he not only is he our lead singer and guitarist, but he's also a graphic designer and does all that stuff. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on all the coffee cups and the Holiday Inns and all that garbage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So there was
but
a
it
lot
just
of
screams 90s. So
that kind of stuff incorporated in the design of when we rolled out.
right.
To look 90s. And, I edited the photos in a way that looks like an old Polaroid, from the 90s or disposable camera from the 90s. So
Right.
a lot of that stuff.
So it was like, why the 90s? Why'd you pick the 90s? Was it, were you guys
Why not?
Yes.
We grew up on the 90s stuff and we didn't really see too many bands doing it. He was in a band called Louder Now. And they do a lot of the early 2000s pop punk, emo type stuff. And he was playing with them. We're all friends with those guys. And he decided he wanted to come do a 90s thing. And we had been talking about that for a while.
Yeah.
Just remember growing up, being around, between the ages of 11 and 15 and having your boom box and putting on the radio station and putting your cassette and recording it and having mixtapes. And that was all the stuff I first grabbed as my own, other than being raised on Beatles and the stuff from your parents. But it was the first thing that was like mine.
Yeah, it was like
that was you're finding on your own.
Right.
So
what people usually will split the 90s into a couple of different types of music. You've got you've got that that really depressing, droning, slow, sad kind of stuff from the 90s, right? And then you had the end of the hair band era in the 90s. Yep. And then you had like the power punk, the Red Hot Chili Peppers and stuff like that started coming around. So is it a mixture or is it one type of genre or what are you guys doing?
I would say we try to keep it as much of a far reaching thing for all the genres of the 90s. We try to touch a little bit of everything. So we've got everything from Backstreet Boys and the boy band stuff to Metallica and Pantera and things like that. But also a lot of that middle of the road kind of like Third Eye Blind, Gin Blossoms, Everclear, stuff like that. A Fastball, Oasis, there's a lot of that stuff in there. Sugar Ray.
Okay.
The majority of it is rock, but we pick certain songs on purpose to get it in there so that there's something for everybody.
But songs that are slower and more acoustic and kind of like the droning, slower ones that you were talking about, we'll try to kind of put our own spin on them. So it's not like a note for note cover. We'll kind of put our own twist on it and make it more of a rock version. Like we do a version of Iris by Goo Goo Dolls. Right. And it's way heavier and faster and rockier. But everybody knows what it is, and everybody still enjoys that, sings along with it. They're not like caught off guard or anything like that.
Right.
So it's a good time.
Right. And Tyler, you are
drummer.
You're the drummer.
Drummer and sing backup.
You're drummer. You are lead singer and guitarist.
Yep.
So who else is in your band? How many people you got?
So my little brother plays bass and sings as well. Couple leads on songs, and then a lot of backup vocals. And then our buddy Jake plays guitar as well.
Okay. All right. So 4 you guys, and each one of you guys can sing.
It's debatable. I would say Tyler's.
We try it.
Tyler's my favorite singer in the band.
Okay, so I'm just trying to wrap my head around the different genres and the different bands and that you guys are covering, and you're going from Backstreet Boys to Goo Goo Dolls and some other kind of stuff, and I'm thinking, well, you got to have some extra voices in your band if you guys are doing some Backstreet Boys stuff. Yeah, unless you're kind of rocking it out and just saying screw the harmonies.
No, we do as many harmonies as we can all over the place.
I'm always asking him. I was like, hey, I can do a harmony there. He's like, it needs to be there then. Yeah. And I was like, but I don't want to overdo it. He's like, dude, just cover it.
You can never go wrong with adding a harmony as long as you're on key. This guy could harmonize with a plane crash. He's so dead on. It's crazy.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Oh, shucks.
Everybody's screaming in harmony.
Yeah, that's right.
You seat 17, a little higher, a little higher.
No, it works out great because there's certain songs we do that are perfect for Gary's voice. And there's certain songs we do. His brother is our bassist, Marky, and he has the perfect voice for some of the pop punky stuff and the punk songs that we do. So it really works out at practice. It's like, do you want to sing this? And I was like, nah, I think you have the better voice for that one. So so a lot of us, he sings a lot of this stuff, but then me and the other guy will take, 3 or 4 songs depending on what it is.
Okay. So what Backstreet Boys song or songs do you do?
We do. I Want It That Way.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. It's a crowd favorite. Yeah.
Yep.
Crowd favorite. Some of these things have come along because, we've been a band for almost 6 years now, and you always get requests for certain songs.
Right.
And for years, it was not in our catalog at all.
Okay.
And then after 4 years of people requesting that specific song, it's like, maybe we should actually learn this song.
Right.
Because people really want to hear it. So we did it once. We kind of messed around with it at a show. And it went over huge. And then we were just like, all right, well, this is a regular part of the set now.
Right, right. Yeah, we tend to listen to the jukebox music before the show and after the show, because whatever the place is playing, and that's what the crowd wants. And it's like, okay, we need to learn this song.
Sure, definitely. That's a good plan.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And we've
Yeah.
even started that we've had so many requests for things that we were really strict at first, like that's not 90s. They come up, no, we don't know. That's not 90s. And now we're just like, okay, they really want to hear Mr. Brightside. Let's freaking learn it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's not 90s, but I don't see anyone complaining when we play it. So you got to do it. Right.
But it totally sounds 90s though.
It does.
It's got that feel.
It does.
You know,
There's
to
a
it for
couple
sure.
that fit into that too. Like Story of a Girl by 9days.
Oh, yeah.
Is not a 90s song.
But
Technically it's like April 2000, but
Right.
it's,
Right.
I mean, it sounds like
And
97.
about a year or two ago, we started doing Stacy's Mom because people were nonstop coming up to the
Yeah.
stage, like just play that song.
Yeah, you got to give it to like 2001,
Right.
1989. Or
Yeah.
88.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta give it
We've relaxed the
Right.
borders for sure
It
over the
was
last
right
year
choice.
or two.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You absolutely have to because there's some spillover.
Right, right.
I
You
guess.
still get people though that will request the Beatles and, you know, Jesse's Girl and stuff like that. And Africa, Toto, you know,
Right. Right.
we're not that band.
Right.
Right.
I would love to be that band that does, you know, a 50-year gap, but it's not us.
Yeah, but not those songs though.
No, not those songs.
those are two songs I don't
No,
think
sir.
I need to hear covered anymore.
No, I mean, I'd love to do some Beatles, but I don't think I'd do it well enough to, you know,
Right.
be embarrassing.
So what do you guys think? What is it about the music of the 90s that attracts so many people? Because I know, man, 90s music is hot. It really is. What is it?
I think a lot of it for me is the songwriting was just like top notch. I mean, they were just hits, huge hits. And not to say there's not hits now, but I feel like the hits kind of went as, you know, the quantity of them has kind of just gone down. And the ones that are great, but man, 90s is just like every band had like 5 hits.
Yeah.
That you know to this day.
Sure.
You know? You think of like, even whether you like it or not, like Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
How many hits on each one of those albums that you could still play it and people would go, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. I think a lot of it for me and for other people is an element of nostalgia. I mean, we have a lot of people that are our age that come to shows and we talk to them about, you know, I was in elementary school when this song was on. And I remember hearing it, and that's how I feel. I mean, we play these songs every night and I still feel the same way as like when I first started playing them 6 years ago. I don't get sick. I'm not burnt out on these songs. I love hearing them. It reminds me of being a kid.
The sky was gold, it was rose. I was taking sips up into my nose, and I wish I could get back there, someplace back there, smiling in the pictures you would take.
But a lot of the people that are coming to our shows, there's a good amount of people that are between the ages of like 50 and 65. And when we talk to them, they're able to tell us, you know, I was in college when this came out, or I was here, I was doing this. I remember, you know, I had just gotten married and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool nostalgia tied to the specific decade that we're doing. It seems that way anyway.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I hear the Wallflowers, like one headlight comes on and I'm instantly transported back to the pool in Orland Park, you know, going down the water slide and hearing it up on the...
And I'm in Vegas. I remember I was in Vegas
Right.
when I started hearing that like all the time.
Yeah.
Right. It's great.
Yeah. You know, that was a song for me as well that transports me to a bunch of different places. And I can never understand why, because it's such a simple song.
It is.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
What year did that come out? That was
Bringing Down the Horse was at 96.
96 or 97.
okay.
96 or 97, I want to say.
Yeah.
So this is an eerie thing for me. But before this happened, that song had a lot of different meaning for me. But now when I hear that song, the thing that I'm reminded of, and I'm telling you, this is eerie. It was just a few months after 9/11.
Mhm.
And I was in St. Louis, and there was a bomb scare at the airport in St. Louis.
Oh,
I
boy.
actually flew to St. Louis because I had to drive to a couple of, a few other cities, and the drive would have been like 7 or 8 hours. So I just flew to St. Louis, spent my work week there. Then I drove back to the airport in St. Louis, and I was going to fly back home to Chicago. Well, then at the time there was some kind of bomb scare at the airport and no flights were taking off. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep my rental car and I'm going to drive home. And I was still feeling the effects of 9/11.
Sure.
I was like, shit, this really sucks.
Yeah.
Right. And as I'm getting on I-55 heading home, that song comes on the radio. So now, unfortunately, whenever I hear that song, I'm reminded, not necessarily of 9/11, but about that time afterwards. Sure. But it is weird that song has such a connection for me. It's strange that you guys said that. But
the connections that's what makes it fun for me. I like when you said the pool. When I think of the pool as a kid, I think of both Semi-Charmed Life and Two Princes, Spin Doctors. Those were like pool songs. And then like random one hit wonders like Len, remember Steal My Sunshine? Yeah. That was always on at the pool.
Right. You know, why do the Spin Doctors get such a bad rap nowadays?
I don't know.
There's all these stupid jokes and memes about the Spin Doctors, which are unwarranted. They were a fantastic band.
They were a great band, man. Their guitar player is awesome.
And their bass player was just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you rip that solo in Two Princes, that's a fun one. That's a good band. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And during the COVID years, when they decided to start, doing like these little, I think it was the anniversary of that song. So they were all in their own individual houses.
Oh, really?
Did like a podcast,
a
simulcast of it all. And that was fantastic.
Super cool.
When they did that. I mean, they still had the chops. And I think they're on tour, or at least playing a few shows now, but I don't think the original bass player of the band is
he not with them anymore?
Has joined them. Yeah.
I saw them. I was in Disney World with my family and they were playing at Epcot. And I happened to I had no idea. I was just walking by, had a beer in my hand. And I was like, this is Spin Doctors. Like this is awesome, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys play some of the songs? I'm assuming you play a Spin Doctor song.
We do Two Princes.
We do Two Princes now. I want to get Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. That's a great song. I
mean, well, yeah, you got number 1 and number 2 right there. I mean, there's so many other songs that you could play by them.
Yeah.
But I don't know how recognizable that they are because they were kind of an underground band.
That's the battle is how recognizable is a song. Like you could think it's a great song, but are people going to care? Is it going to fall flat on the audience? You know? So
we all have one card that we can throw down to play any song, and the other guys have to do it, and none of us have done it because we've all agreed on all the songs.
Oh wow.
But
it's a good streak.
Yeah, I guess so. You could throw in a sleeper song from one of those big albums and see how many people react to it, but we haven't done it yet.
Yeah, but if people don't care, I mean, it takes 1 or 2 shows to realize that people don't care, and then we just cut the song.
Right.
And if it's not going to go over, it's not going to go over.
Oh yeah, we do the same thing too. Yeah. It's why invest any more time into it if it's not going to go over well.
Absolutely. Our booking manager told us. I remember at the beginning, he just said, "Whatever you do, do not play Fly." Fly by Lenny Kravitz. Fly Away.
Fly Away.
He said no band knows how to cover that song accurately.
No room wants
so
to.
we never tried.
Yeah.
We're really? Like, okay, we trust you.
No, I was actually in a band in the early 2000s and we did it. Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah. Fine. It went over well. Yeah.
It went over well?
Yeah. It's not as difficult.
See, we got to do it just to spite them.
All right.
Absolutely.
We're going to add that to the set.
I think so.
Absolutely. You should.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
It is. And Are You Gonna Go My Way?
That riff is cool. Yeah.
Great
I like that riff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good song too. I've done that 1,000 times as well. So what would be the card? You threw down your card. What would be the song?
Man.
What's the one song everybody else in the band has to do? Shut up. You're doing it.
I thought of it the other day. Now I'm blanking.
I don't know that. So I know one that I want to do, and I know that nobody's going to care. And I think it would not land with an audience, but Toad the Wet Sprocket, All I Want.
Oh, okay.
I love that chorus.
Yeah.
So much. There's a chord progression in the chorus. It's just mint.
I'll jump off yours and say Toadie's Possum Underground.
Well, that's a good one. Yeah.
I think that's their only song.
Possum King.
But it's a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could think of a bunch of them.
Yeah. I'm bad on the spot, but maybe I can email you some songs that we would use as our cards.
No, it'll be too late.
No, that's the way,
I just thought of this one.
Yeah, no, that's the way it goes. Whenever somebody tells you to name songs, 1,000, but you can't think of one at a particular time. Yeah. So who was your favorite guitar player from the 90s?
Oh, from the 90s?
Yeah.
I mean, I really like Kevin Gadd. I give him Third Eye Blind. He's got a lot of interesting tones in the way he writes and different tunings and stuff like that. It's hard to say from the 90s, but I would probably still go with my favorite guitar player, Steve Lukather, Toto.
Oh yeah.
So even Toto in the 90s, I mean, this dude.
Hence, you would love to play Toto.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love Luke.
He's somebody that within like the past 5 to 10 years or so, I started learning a little bit more about. And man, he's had his hands on everything.
He's on everything. Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, what was it? He gets called in with who are the two brothers in Toto?
The Porcaro brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These three guys get called in and they're working on the Thriller album
Yeah.
for Michael Jackson.
So cool.
And other albums too at the same time.
Yeah.
All the while they managed to come up with their own hit album.
Yeah. Right. That's crazy.
At the same time.
And even
Same
like
here.
so Human Nature was written by Steve Porcaro and Toto, and it was a
Right.
throwaway song. They didn't want to use it. And they
Right.
gave it to Michael Jackson.
Oh, I
It was
didn't
a
even know that.
huge song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Great song.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Toto. If you listen to the song, it sounds like a Toto B-side.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Now that you say it,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, it's missing a couple of like African instruments.
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but no, it totally does sound like a Toto song for sure. And all the work that he did with George Benson blew me away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got his hand in everything. That's the best way to put it. He's all over the place.
Gosh, I hate guys like that. it's like a chew. Oh, here's another hit song. For
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, just like that. There you go.
Jeez.
Yeah. See, most of them guys don't get their own bands. I mean, they're studio musician, producers,
Yeah.
writers, and that's all they ever do. But then they just got together and said, "Hey, we can put a band together."
Yeah. We're all awesome. Let's just do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
why
cool
not?
part is a lot of those guys can walk down the street and not get bothered.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, I think he probably back in the 90s, you recognize Luke with that hairdo that he had.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's similar to that now. It's just white, a lot
Yeah.
more white. But
But if it wasn't for Toto, you would know who he was. You know,
that's true.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
right.
true.
it's like in the '60s, the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
That was every single band out there. Nobody
Yeah.
knew that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
I'm Christy from Crime Cave Podcast. I've had a huge interest in true crime since my days of watching marathons of Snapped back in the mid-90s. I needed an outlet to talk about the cases that have haunted me for a very long time. With each episode under 20 minutes, I shine a light on some of the most bizarre cases in the last 50 years. Join me in the Crime Cave.
Hi, I'm Rick Anthony. I'd like to thank my radio brothers, Ray the Roadie and Hollywood Mike, for allowing me to tell you about my podcast, the Someone You Should Know podcast. We spotlight musicians, authors, and interesting people, and we like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. The podcast is heard twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays, and you can check it out on your favorite streaming platforms and on the web at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast.com. That's the Someone You Should Know podcast with me, Rick Anthony. Making a difference, one artist at a time.
So what's your favorite song?
Ouch.
To play or just,
From the '90s.
Yeah. What's the favorite song that you guys play?
Oh,
I mean, for me, I would say it's probably Semi-Charmed Life.
yeah.
Just
Okay.
because of the memories tied to it. First time I ever heard it. That's my favorite album of the 90s. I never get sick of it. We've made jokes that we could play that song. If we have a 3-hour set, we could do it just through the 3 hours, just play that song over and over
Right.
again, you know?
Wow.
You never get sick of it. It gets a good response. People sing along with it. People get excited when it starts, when they realize what it is.
Right.
So that's off the cuff. That's probably my answer.
And no one ever asks the drummer that. What's your favorite song?
I would
play.
say, honestly, right now, for me, it would be Man in the Box by Alice in Chains.
See, that makes total sense. That's a drummer song.
He sings it too.
And
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like singing it. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You guys are kind of making me jealous because it sounds to me like you've got like a band full of lead singers. I mean,
Essentially,
we
yeah,
really
it's,
do.
It's nice. It's really convenient. And then
Yeah.
the harmonies kind of work itself out with
Yeah.
whoever's needed here and there. We just hop in and do some harmonies.
yeah, and that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Harmonies make or break a band.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can have an okay band with fantastic harmonies, and you've got a fantastic band. You can have a fantastic
totally
band
agree.
with no harmonies, and suddenly they're
just deep.
mediocre. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
We spend a good amount of time working on harmonies in practice. Just sitting down, one guitar, really honing in on, who's doing what part and how it sounds. And
Yeah. And that takes a discipline in itself.
Yeah.
That there's so many bands that they don't have, they don't work on harmonies. Every band should get together. Okay, if you're going to rehearse once a week, 1 week you're working on the music, the next week just get together and do a harmonies practice.
Great idea.
I've
Definitely.
always believed in that.
yeah,
And
it's a great idea.
But it's really hard to convince people in a band to do that.
Yeah.
It seems boring. Nobody wants to do that, right?
No, we saw that at day one is like, let's get the harmonies just on. So we would definitely take plenty of time to go over, is that the right harmony? Let's go listen to it again.
Right.
Figure it out.
We used to have nights where we just get together and drink beer and sing together and just, get the harmonies locked in. But I mean, there's nothing that getting a 3-part harmony like dialed in, and you know that it's good. There's nothing that feels better than that.
Oh, absolutely.
It feels fantastic.
And like you said, it doesn't have to be a rehearsal.
Yeah.
Just hanging out, having a few beers.
Yeah.
Let's sing something.
Yeah,
And that's becomes a rehearsal.
absolutely.
That's exactly right.
This is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe. When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Oh, baby.
So what's next for you guys? Or I shouldn't say what's next. Where can people find you? And tell us a little bit about your gigs. Where do you like to play and stuff?
So our website is howrudeband.com. We have a show coming up this coming Saturday, July 1st at the Tinley Park Rib Fest at the 80th Avenue train station in Tinley Park. We play from 2:30 to 4:30, and then July is just kind of slammed with a bunch of different, all over the place fireworks shows on the 3rd and 4th in Palatine and Elgin.
Mhm.
And then Blue Chip Casino on the 8th.
Michigan City, Indiana, and then
Nice.
Whiskey Jack's up in Madison.
On the 14th, yeah.
Right.
So
You guys ever play the Blue Chip before?
Yeah.
We have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun place to play.
a good time,
The
yeah.
load-in sucks, but playing
Yeah,
there is
definitely.
not
it's
great,
pretty cool.
but
Yeah.
no, they're really nice. They're cool people.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time we played there we were a little concerned because they were like, absolutely no alcohol on stage. You're treated as an employee. You can't drink while you're playing. I was like, this sounds like it's gonna be awful.
Yeah.
No, it was fun. It was cool.
Yeah. Not that musicians have to drink in order to play.
No, of course not. Of course
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. It's for the audience's benefit.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay. We always forget to say this, but I think this is going to air probably in August, right?
Probably in August, yes.
Yeah. What do you guys have coming up in August?
Oh,
Let's see.
pull up the calendar.
Yeah. Take a look here. So we have August 2nd, we are playing the Elmhurst Community Stage in Elmhurst. And then we have the Village of Hillside show on August 15th. And I think that's all we have right now for August. And then a couple of shows in September. Elmhurst Rock the Block on September 9th. And JMO's Live in Mokina on September 15th, which is nice. It's a little close to home show for us. JMO's is a really fun venue. Cool space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice staff. So
How many shows you guys play a year?
I would say anywhere from like 40 to 50,
Okay.
something like that.
So you're averaging about once a week or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Taking off for holidays and
Yeah.
things like that. And you play mostly like south suburbs and places like that, or are you kind of spreading out all over?
It feels like a lot of north suburb shows. We play.
Really?
Yeah. We do a lot in,
Like Hoffman Estates and
Oh, okay.
Geneva.
We do a lot of shows at Cubby Bear too. We always get these Cubby Bear shows, whether they're like the Saturday Night Late shows or like the post Cubs game shows. They'll have a band, and we do a lot of those because it's like a guaranteed packed room. Everybody comes over wasted from the game.
Right.
Good built-in audience. It's nice.
Okay.
But
Good exposure.
yeah, it's great exposure. We've gotten some really cool gigs from those, those smaller gigs like that too. So
Yeah. What's your favorite place to play?
I think the band would answer this. Even Flow in Geneva.
yeah, I think that's
Shout out to
Yeah.
Even Flow.
Yeah.
that's everyone's answer. I think.
No, that's a pretty cool.
Always
place.
have a good time there. It's always packed and people have a really good time.
Yeah, they're always super nice to us too. Everybody there is super cool.
Yeah. I've played there a few times. I love that place because where the stage is located, and it's got the really high ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's got the balcony and the whole bit.
Yep.
It reminds me of the club in Purple Rain.
Oh, it's there. Yeah, I can totally see that.
I
can totally see that.
when the lighting and everything is right and everything,
Yeah.
in there, it
Yeah.
looks like the club in Purple Rain. I love playing there.
Did
Where's
you?
go ahead?
Sorry. Did you go downstairs and see the Speakeasy?
No, I haven't been down there yet.
So next time you go downstairs and look. They built there's a brick wall with bars in it. It looks like a kind of like a jail, like dungeon area. And you look in there and it's like a old school bar.
Okay.
And it used to be a bank, that building.
Right.
And Capone had his money in the vault there.
Oh, wow.
So they were telling us that, and they've had, those ghost story shows from, TLC or whatever down
Yeah,
there and stuff. So it's just a cool little area.
Yeah. No, I haven't been there since they opened that up. I don't even think I realized that they opened something up down there.
Yeah.
How long ago has that been?
If you right in front of the stage, if you're walking off the stage to your left hand side, there's a little staircase that goes downstairs, and you can go down there. There's bathrooms.
Okay.
But there's also like a locked up speakeasy, and I think you could do like private events there. And
Gotcha.
that's what it's for. But you can kind of peek in there and see it. It's really nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
mostly
pretty cool.
like bathrooms down there right now. They don't have like events There's nothing going on while we're playing upstairs. It's just people go down to go to the bathroom. The
How do
band's,
you know if it's haunted?
maybe,
There could be something going on down
dinner
there.
parties happening down there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, it's a really cool space. What's your favorite venue to play?
You know, it's going to sound crazy, but my favorite place to play is a little spot over in Lockport that holds maybe 100 people.
Okay.
And it's called The Studio.
Okay.
And if you've never been there, you should go check it out.
No, not
I've been there. We'll have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
It's the same thing. It used to be a bank.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe right over the door it says First Bank of Lockport.
Nice.
It's right on State Street.
Okay.
And I mean, I've played in places that hold 1,000 people and a whole bit, as I'm sure you guys have. But this place, it's kind of like if you're familiar with the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville.
Yeah.
It's the Bluebird Cafe of the Midwest.
Nice.
And she's got live music there every single week, singer-songwriter shows and the whole bit. And it's just this small little intimate place with a real stage, and she's got real lighting and the whole bit set up. All you got to do full backline. All you got to do is show up with your instruments and play there.
That's awesome.
And it's really cool.
That's very cool. Ray, do you play out?
No, I don't. Not anymore. Not anymore. I'm elderly.
What are you, 35, 36?
Close.
Seasoned.
I'm seasoned. That's right.
Yeah.
So what I want to know, so Tyler, tell me, where did it all start? The whole drumming, you got a few musical family, or?
Yes, we are not athletically inclined in the least. So yes, my dad was a singer. My grandfather was also a singer, would sing funerals and weddings and, Southern gospel stuff. My dad was in a band in the 60s called the Stingrays, and they did like go-go music, and he was the singer. And then, around the time 11, 12, I started playing a little bit of guitar and bass. But around 13, I started playing the drums, and just sister's ex-boyfriend left a drum set over the holidays because everyone else was playing, and he left his drum set up. So I put a tape in the other room, and it was like just the normal straight beat. I think I could do that, and run in the other room and do it. And got that and kind of just kept listening to music and figuring out how to do it.
So what about bands? What kind of bands have you been in before this?
Well, what always happens to a drummer is when you go find a band, they say they need a bass player. So the first two bands I was in, it was a metal band. When I was like 15, and I met this guy playing guitar, and he was playing Metallica riffs, and I was like, man, I want to play drums with you. And he's like, oh, we got a drummer, but you play bass? I'll figure it out, So played bass until the drummer quits, and then I get to be the drummer.
Okay.
And then that happened again in the next band I was in, pop rock act. And did that for a while, did little mini tours, making, $50 a show, and trying to, do the original thing. And then,
$50 a show as a band sometimes.
Yeah.
Tough.
So, from there, and then, got married and started working full time and just doing music on the side, doing studio stuff if someone needed something. And finally, you're still friends with all the other guys that you played shows with in the same venues when you were a kid. And hey, let's go make some money and have some fun.
Cool.
So,
Gary?
Yeah, I started playing guitar freshman year of high school. I had a buddy who I met in school, and he was, I would love to look at it now as an adult and see how good he really was, but he seemed like he was like the best guitar player in the world to me because I didn't play at all, and he was very into Tool, stuff like that. And he was a great guitar player, and I wanted to do that so badly. So I remember mentioning it to my mom, and then the next day I came home from school and there was an acoustic guitar propped up against my bed. So I started, learning and trying to figure it out, reading tabs that were usually wrong on the internet because that's how it goes. But yeah, I was heavily influenced by, the Beatles and Metallica and different, all kinds of different stuff, the stuff that I like to listen to. But once I started feeling like I was good enough, I started trying to start bands when I was about 16 years old, things like that. And then it just kind of led to, one band leads to the next, and you meet people along the way and stuff like that. And then I started an original band 2008. And we did the whole touring thing. And like you said, we played a lot of shows with his old band. And that just kind of fell apart. And then years later, I got into the cover music thing, going to see actually Infinity. I don't know if you guys know it, the band Infinity. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lance, their guitar player, was playing a single cut gold top PRS. And I was like, I need to buy that guitar. And I went and bought a PRS. I started a cover band with my friends because I was like, I'd always wanted to do one, but I didn't really know anything about it. And then going with my wife to all these festivals where bands like Infinity play, I think I could do this if I get the right group of guys. I think I could be in a cover band. So we talked it out one night, figured out a set list and started working at it. And essentially here we are 6 years later. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you both
It's a
said
blast.
you both said you guys had some original stuff in the past. What kind of music was that?
Mine was like very cheesy pop punk, pop rock music. Yeah.
I was in like a Metallica mega sounding band that had pretty much all originals. We did a couple covers. We were called Cradle.
Ooh.
And then, that was my first band I was
That's
in.
because the cradle will rock.
That's right. You heard about it. And then I was in another metal band playing bass for a while called Circus Dawn.
Yep.
And then after that, I was in a pop rock band called Maid of Vale.
All right.
Yeah. Good times.
Were you athletically inclined?
Not at all. I was on the bowling team in high school.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
the extent.
a sport. That's a sport.
The bullying team or the bowling team?
I wasn't good at bowling, but I was on the team as an extracurricular activity.
There you go. No, that's so funny because every time somebody talks about, high school and how everything got started, it was either I was an athlete and didn't start playing till I was later, or I wasn't an athlete and I've been playing since high school.
No,
And
I went.
the two always go hand in hand. I don't know what it is. Athlete or musician.
I went into high school the first week with every intention of joining the wrestling team and the swim team. I wanted to be athletic.
Right.
I just happened to meet the punk rock kids the first day of high school.
Right.
And that changed everything. I started skateboarding and playing guitar by the end of the week. And that's the path. That's the trajectory I took from there out.
Yeah.
No regrets. I mean, very cool kids. And I became friends with all the athletes, but
Right.
I'm not inclined at all athletically.
Sometimes that's the way it goes.
I mean, we like to throw bags and stuff, but I don't know if that's really athletic.
Yeah, big into bags.
Definitely is. That definitely.
What about dice? Dice games.
Dice could be
Yeah. You can do
athletic.
that. Yeah.
Shoot a lot of dice backstage.
Yeah, a lot of green room dice.
That's athletics. I mean, come on. That bicep.
I know.
You got to get the right
The
throw.
wrist. Yeah. That's
True story. I tore my rotator cuff playing bags. So,
Really?
it's, I mean, I don't know if that's because I was doing an incredibly athletic movement or I'm just getting old or a combination of both of them.
It's because it's athletic.
We were doing something incredibly stupid. We were like, okay, let's see how far apart we can put these things and still getting in. Right. So it got to the point, I think we were like 30 yards apart.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Jeez.
And I'm no longer just underhand pitching this thing. I'm turning it and I'm throwing it like a Frisbee.
Yeah.
Ooh. And I just wound up, man, and just whack, right. And as soon as I did that, oh man.
Snap.
man.
That was it.
God.
Injured playing bags.
Not fun.
That's
Good
a guy.
story though.
I pulled both my hamstrings sneezing one time. So, I mean, I guess throwing bags and ripping your rotator cuff isn't so bad.
Oh yeah.
You need a bubble, man. You got to get in a bubble.
I do.
So is the band all original members still from day one? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, we kept it the same four. We've been lucky, fortunate in that sense.
Yeah.
6
How,
years.
6 years?
6
Wow,
years.
6
yeah,
years.
just about.
That's good.
September will be 6 years.
Yeah. That's good. And I mean, you're not supposed to ask us, but I'm gonna. So how old are you guys?
I'm 38.
Okay.
36.
See, and that makes
I'm
perfect
35.
sense. You're 35? Yep. Twice.
We established this.
No, not twice.
Get off my, we need to have a get off my lawn button.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. That's the first thing I did. But the first day of my retirement, I got up early, stand on my driveway and say, "Get off my lawn."
Yeah.
Get off my lawn. Listen, old man, you don't want to fuck with me.
You earned it.
35 is the threshold. I think if you're a musician and you're in a band and everybody in the band makes it to age 35,
Sure.
you're just going to be together for the rest of your lives or until you get sick of doing it.
Yeah.
It's prior to 35 is when everybody's bitching and moaning about something and everybody's arguing, fighting, and nobody's happy with everything. I mean, think about how many bands you were in between like 21 to 34.
Oh my God.
Oh, totally.
We don't have time. We don't have enough time.
Right.
Right.
And all of a sudden you hit 35 and it's like, hey, we've been together 6 years.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah.
Well, now we only have to worry about the wives saying no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really the only anomaly now.
Well,
It's
you
just
know,
the
you
wives.
know what the secret is there, right? You know what the secret is there.
What's up?
Make money.
And
That's what we're working on it.
That's and if we weren't, we wouldn't be in this band.
It's
Right,
been
right.
We'd be
it's
still
been good
playing,
so
but-
far, but yeah.
Yes, I have to play Friday night. I have to play Saturday night. I have to host an open jam on Sunday night. Okay, how much are you going to make by the end of this weekend? Oh,
Yeah.
quite a, okay, great. You go do
Yeah,
that.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been the money's been the saving grace for some of the sanity of the wives I know over the years.
Yeah, you use it as an excuse, but it's we're all sick in the head. when
Yeah,
it comes down to
totally.
Yeah, definitely get that 35. You don't care anymore.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, I could
enjoy what you're doing.
I could
Right.
coast with this band for the next 30 years and keep doing the same thing. We gotta wait because Jake and Mark are both 30 and 33, 31 and 33.
Oh, okay.
So we got a ways to go before we
forget.
cross that threshold.
Yeah, but
Right.
one's your brother though.
One's my brother. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just put him in a
He's
headlock
stuck.
and give him a noogie. Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
But the other guy, you're on the bubble.
So hang in there, Jake.
You never know.
Yeah. All right, fellas. So
Yeah, that was great meeting you guys.
Yeah, thank you for
Learning
having
about
us.
you.
Thanks
And
so much.
Wish you a lot of luck. Seems like you guys are really, really busy all over the place. You said Madison, Wisconsin you're going to?
Yeah, that's when
Damn.
we keep going back to College Town. The bar's packed and
It's wild.
play till 2 a.m. and
That's awesome.
it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. No, Madison's a cool place to play.
It's very cool.
All righty. Well, good to see you guys.
Thank you for having us.
We'll be seeing you somewhere out there this summer.
This place is awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great job, guys.
Well, there you have. I cannot believe how rude those guys were.
They were rude.
They're very rude. Very,
How rude.
That's what happens in the 90s. They're very, very rude.
I'm looking forward to hopefully getting out to see those guys because I do like the 90s music, I have to admit.
I do too. I
Yeah.
do too.
It was a high energy, positive era.
Well, and it's something positive for them. I mean, they get feelings from this music. They remember a time back when they were younger,
Right.
their younger days. And, when you play something like that and brings back memories, that's got to be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the 90s for me, I graduated from high school in 1988. So when 1990 came around, I was a couple years out of high school, a little bit more of a man, but not quite fully grown,
You think you are.
And and it just was having a good time for about the next 5 years or so.
Right. And some of these songs come out and you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
Bam. One that reminds, this is going to kind of show my age a little bit. Baker Street.
Yeah.
Jerry Rafferty.
Yeah.
I remember the summer that thing came out and it was just playing over. And I every time I think of that song, I think of that sax solo. I just love that song.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the 90s were formative years for me. I mean, I met my wife in 1991 or 2.
Yeah.
We're on there.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's a good decade for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Got married in 95. I mean, that whole decade right there was great. So I'm
Right.
just glad we had these guys in there.
And none of our computers exploded on 2000 or nothing.
No, nothing like that. No, we survived.
Right. All righty then. Well, thanks again for listening to our wonderful podcast. I hope you think it's a wonderful podcast. Do you think it's a wonderful podcast?
I think it's a wonderful podcast.
I think so too. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday for another exciting episode.
The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast is edited by Paul Martin. Theme song courtesy of M&R Rush. The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music heard on the show. The music is used to promote the guests that are featured.
Rock and roll, Chicago. Rock and roll.